Hi there, welcome to Ghostman Ghost Talk continuously for the 7th session. So today will be the 7th session that for the Ghostman Ghost Talk for this year's season. So we have been live for the past 5 years every Chinese lunar 7 month, because that's the only time that I have a little bit more spare time, because my spiritual commitment is not so much. Hi, Duncan, Linda, Jerome, Jenny, Wei. So hello everybody. So tonight we're going to continue a bit on the Datok side, because yesterday we haven't finished on the Datok, because I haven't yet give you guys information about if you have a Datok in your Datok shrine in near your workplace, near your office, near your factory, what you should do, or if you have a Datok shrine near your apartment, what you can do. So after that, then we'll conclude yesterday's episode. Okay, so hi Jerry, hi Jerry. So we will go into that continuously. For today will be 7, so by the time we finish today we will be almost 7 hours talking about ghosts and spirits from my own experience. So if some of you do have your own experience about encounters with ghosts and things like that, you can always write down your encounters. You can write down your encounters, then you can WhatsApp the link or the file to 016-429-8669. So those that have submitted your stories, you will also get a token of appreciation, a prize of some sort. And if your stories is the best that we have selected, that means your own personal experience is scary according to all the other viewers, then you'll get a prize as well, another big prize as well. Okay, so hi Sam. So therefore we will have many types of giving, but the this evening one I've selected because most of the people you just share, which is thank you very much for sharing. If you add a little 1 or 2 sentences in your sharing, then you have a chance to win the prize for sharing, which is the ginseng soap that I have consecrated for it to cleanse away bad qi. So we've been talking about cleansing bad qi and all that. So I've done that on the soap. So you guys can get a soap, which I will send out to you for those who have shared and you have written something. All right. So for today's also, I think the winner will be Duncan, because Duncan also write very detailed about what he has learned. So today also we will have a prize. Each time that we are on live, there will be a prize. Hi Wong. So and also hi to Kelvin. So we will, each time that we will have a prize. It's just that you need to share up. Winning it will be one thing. So we have other prizes as well. Okay, so we conclude yesterday. We talked about Topekong, where does it come from? We talked about earth deities. What you should do at your home, what are the things that you need to be aware of, and if your consecration is done properly, that means if your hoi kong for your altar is done properly, then below your altar, you can put the Di Zhu or your Teiji Wei. So when you put your Teiji Wei, it can be either consecrated or unconsecrated, because I expect that your altar will be properly consecrated. Okay, if not, then you need to engage some temple to help you to do the consecration. Okay. Then what we will be talking about, we also talk about Topekong and how does the Topekong come about, what you can do to pay homage, pay your respect to the Topekong, and if you want to request for success in terms of relationship and so on, you need to find one of the oldest Topekong temple in your area. Okay. So we have a question here I think I can answer because it relates to everyone. So Wong is saying that whether Topek Kong and Tuti Kong is the same. It's the same. It's the same. It's just that if it's at your home, inside your home, it's called a Ti Zu already. It's not a Tuti Kong already. Okay, so here we have a name for the Tuti Kong, which we call Topek Kong, Tai Pak Kong. Alright. But if it's in a graveyard, then you have your Ho Tu, and then also the Ho Tu is specific to each of the graveyard. If it's in front of the graveyard, then it will be Ta Po Kong, which is also the Tuti Kong, it's the same thing. Okay, yes, Kelvin, Dato Kong, what should we offer? Then I'm going to continue. Today we're going to talk about the Dato Kong. So Dato Kong, usually it will be a local spirit that has passed on. It can be a native. Then I've saw some question about people asking me whether it will be from a Malay ethnic background. Not necessarily. Sometimes, as I told you, sometimes it will be halfling. Halflings means that spirits, animal spirits that have cultivated to obtain a human body in their spiritual form. So that is what we call halfling. So then it will also be, sometimes it will be local ethnic people. It depends. I cannot give a straight answer because every area, the different type of what we label as Dato Kong then is different. Okay. One of the story that I can remind me of Dato Kong is when I went back to my father's hometown to do our family ancestor graveyard. So I went back and did redo the graveyard for my great grandfather, my grandfather, my great grandfather's brother, and also my cousin's mother, which is also my uncle's, that means my Tai Pak's wife, one of my Tai Pak's wife. So I went back and that because their graveyards were in different areas, so we have to find a specific place for them to actually I want to find a good place to do burial for my ancestors and also my grandfather and also my grandmother. But my grandmother passed on very much later. So from my great-grandfather's my grandfather and my great-grandfather's grave, actually the place was not good. So therefore I have to find in that particular area where my father's hometown is, to find that area. Once we found the area, the problem is that that particular hill, it's already because it's not what we call done by a corporation. So you know, as the local Kongsi or the local clan house will be in charge of it. So when I went back at that time, there's a particular plot on top of that hill that's very beautiful, which I managed to pinpoint it, and then we want to use that part of the hill to bury my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and also possibility for putting my grandmother later, and also my uncle's wife, so together. So it will be what you know today. If you go to one of those established graveyards, then it will be a family plot, the so-called family plot. That means all of those all family members can be buried together. So the problem is that when we went there, that plot is an empty plot, and it's perfect for me to put all my family members, my ancestors, together with my relatives in that particular spot. The problem is that spot was actually sort of like being reserved, but actually in all those clan houses you cannot reserve. Even in places like Penang today, also if it's under the Hokkien clan, you cannot reserve the place. That means you will be buried accordingly to the day you die. Then they have those location by first come first serve. That means you first pass away, then you just bury it accordingly as they open up different parts of the hill. So that's the same in where my father's hometown is the same. So, but then there's this local guy who insists that that particular plot was done by them, was reserved by them, which they cannot do. But then we have a problem because my time back to my dad's hometown was also limited because I have to be there and then I have to leave. Then the problem is that we will have a lot of obstacles in terms of getting that piece of plot because the guy that reserved it, his sort of, I think his grandfather or father, I forgot, was on top of that hill, just looking below of where the plot I was selecting. So we had quite problems to get it approved because only my cousin will be handling those things. Therefore, I went into meditative stabilization. I found out that there is a local Datok Kong that is in that particular hill, that is in charge of that particular hill, that is already been there for for a very long time, longer than the hill itself. So however, the clan house that built that coordinates the graveyards and so on, they built a Tua Pek Kong's house. That means they built a Tai Pak Kong's sort of shed or what we call a mini temple in front, but there is no there is a Dato Kong inside. But then the Dato Kong was not inside the temple because in my meditation he was standing outside. So I told the Dato Kong, I just informed him, pay my respect, informed him that say if I manage to get that piece of land on top of the hill successfully, then I will come back every year. Whenever there's Qing Men and so on, I will come back and do offering. Of course, these 2 years I didn't went back because of COVID, so I asked my cousin to do it on behalf of me. So then the Dato in that hill agreed. Then I asked my cousin to go there, to go back to that graveyard, near the graveyard. So it was like 6 p.m. at night. I said, you go and burn gold paper, a few stacks. I forgot already because it's so many years ago. So he said, I remember part of the exciting details. So when he burned the papers, suddenly there was a swirl of wind and the whole thing burned quite fast, finished. So then the next 2 days, I think we got good news is that we managed to get the allocated piece of land on top of the hill to place my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and a whole lot of them all together. So I went back and did the whole Yin Feng Shui. The part is that a lot of people will be asking, why did that Dato Kong have been allocated a place inside the Tua Pek Kong's temple? Why he didn't went in there? Well, the thing came to become obvious to me is that when I went back for Qing Men the following year, I went into, of course I also paid my respect to the Tua Pek Kong temple. When I walked into the temple, I saw the Dato Kong place and so on. Then only I realized that why the Dato Kong was not inside in his supposed place. Because the people that bring and offer the Tua Pek Kong, some of them bring pork, roast pork, siu yok, roast pork and all that, they place on the table and so on. That was the reason the Dato Kong did not enter into the place or preferred not to enter into the place. Anyhow, I still make the offering until later they chop off the tree, he is still there. So whenever I make an offering, he's still there because as Dato Kong is also similar to Tu Ti Kong. They are just part of the land spirit. And then the caretaker and the people in the cemetery, each year they see me bringing back big incense and offer and so on. Sometimes they say, oh yeah, you don't need to offer, the Dato Kong is already inside. Because those people, they just assume if you build, you put a name, then the spirits will be there. So that's how I established, and then there are many other stories. If you read my Yin Yang journal, there are many other stories in my encounters or in my journey that I met with different type of Dato Kong. Okay, so what you can do in terms of, we come back here is that if you have an office, if you're working in an office, and that means you're not a business owner, but you are an employee in an office building and so on, it's also good that you go and pay a respect to the Dato Kong at your office building. That means it's nearby. There will be one. If it's not nearby, also within the perimeters or within the 1 kilometer radius, there will be one. So it's good for you to pay respect, especially one, if your area, if you're that particular area where you're working, there's a high crime rate. Number two, if there's no high crime rate but high spiritual rate, that means people seeing a lot of funny things or a lot of funny characters within the building and so on, it's also good for you to go and pay respect to the Dato Kong, so that at least have somebody or some beings that can help look after you, or help, that can provide help if you needed help. Okay. So that's the thing that you need to do if you have office. Same with factories. If you are working in factories, or if you are working in a factory, or if you are a department head within a factory, or you have or if it's your own factory, you already have a Dato Kong house, then you can do and pay homage to your Dato Kong to give. So usually for offering, just now we have offering, is that people will be saying that what sort of offering that you can give. Kelvin was saying what sort of offering you can give. So for Dato Kong one is that you just give offering that if it's food, then of course it's for say bad, you just offer either if you want to offer anything meat, either chicken curry or lamb curry, then that will be fine. Okay. Okay. So we will have our question. Hi Li Feng. So we have a question. Sam Lu says, how do I know my house Dato Kong inside instead of standing outside? I want to ensure he's inside and receive my offer. Usually you'll be inside. If you have a Dato house, usually be inside. The example that I've given in terms of the graveyard is because they have offering for other deities there that has pork and things like that. So therefore, he just prefer not to be in there. Most of the time for other places, it will be in there. Okay, because they are already there for a very long time. Why is God saying, if the building where I work do not have any altar for Tuti Kong, so do I make connection or offering? If you don't, then you don't need to do that, because when you do offering, then later you don't know what else or what other things actually you're offering, instead of because if there's an altar, then you just what we say locally, you just tumpang only. If there's no, then you don't need to. So if you have, now we talk about have first. If you have a Dato Kong and so on, let's say you want to, if you are having an office, you are an owner of businesses and so on, you can always once a month or twice a month, you can always go and pay offering, do offerings or respect to the Tuti Kong in the area, just saying that your business is located on which unit nearby or which building nearby, what's the name of the place and so on. So in hope that the Dato Kong will just help to look after your premise. Just help look after your premise. Then that means even if people want to, if there's possibility of people want to break in or that, it will be reduced very much. So there are many cases like that. Okay. Then Duncan said, what's the difference between one with walking cane, one with wielding grease? No difference. These are all people. One thing you have to understand is that we are very attached towards the form of the statues. But you have to understand is that for beings such as Tutikong, usually the people just buy the representation. It may appear to certain medium in the colors of the clothes they wear and so on, so they buy it according, or the energy rays or beings of that being portray in their mind, so they just buy the color that relates to that particular so-called Datok lah. But there's no difference between holding a Christ or holding a cane or things like that. There's no difference. The difference is just that the people who pay homage, the people who do the offering, they prefer, or they like it to be, or they saw once that the Dato appear in such a shape, so they go and buy or do custom made according to that only. So there's no difference like, oh, holding Christ means that it's more fearful, holding cane means it's not fearful and things like that. There's no difference one. The difference is when we look at it, what sort of idea it generates. So people like to hold different things. Just now I searched, I scrolled through another video just before we went live. A video with people showing about Tiju, about your earth deities. They talk about, wow, your earth deities, you put those golden flowers and those kamfa, you need to have certain specific criteria. Wow, the kamfa is like this, is wrong. If it's different way, it's wrong. And then you have to have how far away the thing has to put and so on. So the idea here is that all that is according to for people's comfort lah. When they look at the picture, it's providing comfort lah. It's not rules. It doesn't mean that your particular your kamfa is wrong, your golden flower is wrong, then the Tiju is not consecrated. And there's no such thing. So don't get wrong. Just like people buying statues for deities also. If it's that particular deity you're consecrating, it is that particular deity already. It wouldn't become in different form and according to your statues. So if it's according to the statues, then might as well, we don't have to pray Chinese deities, ma. Right or not? The according to whatever statues that's most powerful in your mind. So most people in our generations or further, that means those born in the 70s, 80s, 90s, the millennials, then you'll be praying something else already, because the legends or those people who have achieved deityhood, their superpowers cannot beat those in Marvels, those in DC comics. Those are even more powerful. So if you just want the form and the thing like that, so that's why don't get caught up when people start to tell you all those different things. Wow, have sword means more powerful, whole book means no power one. And then they have to change further, like you saw in Taiwan, and nowadays the Guan Yin holds machine gun, or has to have machine guns. So all these people, you're going after the shape just to please your eyes only. In actual fact, it could be anything. If it's consecrated not properly, inside could be a fat lady sitting on your Guan Gong. Right? It could be a fat lady sitting there, a fat lady spirit sitting there, you never know. Or it could be an auntie, it could be an old uncle sitting on your Guan Yin. So if it's consecrated not properly, despite your Guan Yin having all the forms correct and all that, but if it's not Ru Guang properly, it could be an uncle sitting there, or could be a few uncles sitting there, you don't know. So we have to, you have to, as you listen to me on how our spiritual logical sense work, then when you go outside, I guarantee you will not be easy bullshit by people. That's the case. Okay, so now I look at some questions before I conclude. Yaming talk about, will given signals, I won't bring up the screen, will it be given signal by Dato, the food they prefer and how they look like? It depends on you. If you are very sensitive spiritually, then you will be able to know. If not, you just offer when you have the time. I mean, whenever you offer, you just offer different things and try lah. That means, like for example, you offer curry chicken 1 week, the next week, after this end of the month, you offer curry mutton, and then you see anything different or no. If you don't have the sensitivity, you have to go by experimenting already. Jenny says, how about the color of Dato? Yeah, color of Dato just now say it appears to the medium or the person who's consecrating, so they will know what color of the Dato and so on. So they just buy the clothes according to the color. Actually, it's the aura, the energy that comes out. Each type of spiritual beings will have different types of colors. So it depends on what colors they're emitting, and usually those people, they pick up the colors they emit, they just go and buy the clothes only. Jason says, okay, normally when you go to pray Dato Kong, you also put incense on the left and right on the entrance of the house. Why and to who? Usually it's just to pay homage to the surrounding wandering spirits. That means also they get something. That means you're offering at least something to the wandering spirits around. Because the things that you offer to the Dato, they cannot take unless that particular Dato spirit decide to allow them to have it. So if not, they cannot come near. So on the side one is actually just pay homage to the wandering spirits only. That means you just do some generosity offering, a compassionate offering. So ranking from low to high is Ti Chu Dato Kong, Topek Kong, Ti Chu Dato Kong. Yeah, correct. That's correct. So if you have offices, if you have shops, let's say it's not so, business is not so good, that means on normal circumstances, now you don't say that because of the phase 1 or phase 2 or phase 3, then business is not so good, then you go and blame the Dato saying that it's not helping your business at all. So overall, on normal sense, if you want better business, then if your shop, some people's shop, most people's shop, not some, most people's shop don't want to put any form of religious altar, deity or whatever. So if your local place have a Dato, then you can go and pay homage every week or every 2 weeks or every month. Also, it's up to you. So if you find that after you do an offering, your business gets better, then why not? It's just the local earth spirit helping you out only. So it's nothing, it's not like you take refuge in the earth spirit. It's just that if you walk into a place, you are very familiar with the security guard. So the security guard will always say, take up the hand, hey, hi, hello, how are you? Sudah makan? All that. Or you sometimes you go and buy one nasi lemak for the guard or for the people who are security of that company or even the reception of that company. So you establish good relationship, and then those people will be on the lookout for you and say, hey, that one, hey, tu boss sudah datang already, or what this or whatever lah. So that's how you establish relationship with different spirits of the place. Okay. Wong was saying that gold paper for offering for the same size but different pricing due to different quality. Make any doesn't make any difference. Let me have a drink. You got a question, you can type it out. Jenny says, for teacher, what's the favorite food we can offer? Usually if you go by sweet, by biscuits, you will never go wrong. Sweets, biscuit, local made sweet things, or what our local call kueh, or those any type of dessert, then it's fine. Okay. Any form, usually even though your Tichu are cultivating spirits or Dato are cultivating spirits, usually spirits, they like sweet things. Okay, that's why when we do smoke offering, right, we also provided the 5 types of sweet, and also including milk and things like that. Those fragrant type of sweet items, those are you can never go wrong with those. Kelvin says, should we use joystick or combo incense? Usually you would use both. You can use incense because there's an urn usually, and then on the side usually there will already people be placing for the kemenyan. Kemenyan is English what it's called, frankincense. Yeah. So you can put frankincense because for earth deities or for datoks, they are cultivating spirits. So cultivating spirits, when you put more fragrant or more energetic type of incense, right, they are not, it will not drive them away. Actually, it's good as an offering because of the strong fragrance. Then we have question from Samuel. Is it true that we need to have substances during like betel leaf, tobacco? I got another one. I want to start correct offering. You can provide offering of, for example, you can provide the whole scale of it. You can provide a full scale of it, 1. Or number 2, you can just provide food offering, a little bit of flowers, and then incense, and then the kemenyan. That will be enough. Then some people, some people they want, you can see some people they offer very elaborate. There will be coconuts, coconut water, then there will be betel leaves, there will be cigarettes, there will be cigars, and so on. It's up to you. But you start from the most basic, which is the food, and also incense, and also the frankincense. That will be good enough. Okay, so let's conclude. So those who are officers, you can ask for requests nearby the building, also for your own safety. That means you come in and come out of your particular building itself, or that vicinity that you attend work, go for your business operations, then you can ask for the earth deities to have a lookout for you as well, because you are working in that particular area. So you remember here that all the things that I talk about, it's not for you to take refuge. A lot of people say, oh, you talk about all these Natoko as if you have to go and pray them and to request things from them. And this. It's the same. Every day, if you go to, let's say you go to a specific government department building, if your business every day has to go in and out of the building, there will be a security guard in front, then there will be a few receptionists along the way. So if you know those receptionists and you know those security guards in that area, I'm willing to bet that it's much smoother and also much easier for you to access in and out daily. Am I correct? If you agree with me, you type agree, agree, agree. If you go in and out of that building, but you decide you don't want to talk to them, you don't, other than showing your IC or giving them, showing the pass, you don't even want to look at them, you straight go to where you want to go in the department, you can also go in and out. It's just that if you have any problem, you need their help or asking them to help you do some favors in some way, nobody will talk to you, right? Nobody will even help you. They don't want to look at you because they know this guy or this gal every day comes into the building but snobbish, don't even say hello, right? So that's why it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They are not spirits that are beyond, like bodhisattvas and so on. They don't have. Their cultivation is more inner. These are closer to human. They are still cultivating, so they still have that sort of attachments. So it's just having a relationship normal only establish good relationship. It's not that ask you to go and borrow money from them or request them to come and save your family, help your family, It's nothing like that. Just that Cantonese say 打下交道。打下招呼, then 禮多人不怪. That means you have bring some gifts, some offering, then people just like. When they see you, they will be smile a lot, and then they will always help you out lah. Okay, let's see. I answer this before we move on. Do we need to clean up? Yeah lah, Yamin, you need to clean up the food. Kelvin say that, can we assume that all Dato shrine in the vicinity is properly consecrated and we can pay respect? Yeah, even if it's not properly consecrated, if within the shrine itself, you just pay homage only, that means you just offer respect, offer some offerings. So you don't go and elaborate lah. Can I have 4D? Please ensure, bless me that I have good income. Then there will be problem. But if you just pay respect and offer things, it will be fine. Because whatever they can maintain, if it's not properly consecrated as the earth deity, whatever that can maintain itself within that shrine and allow people to offer incense will be the what we call the local Tao Chong. Okay, so it will be the local a more stronger spirit. So usually they won't harm you, or not a problem, because they are confined with the space. They're happy where they are. Yeah, so when we say how much we know them is not good enough, must let them know or familiar. So that means at least they know you are familiar. You are familiar, that means at least can help you. Okay, so that's it for the Dato. So you already know the formula already. So if you, whatever it is, a lot of people they don't know. Which also reminds me of another story. Last time also one of our temple members, the factory itself, they have a Dato. So after they changed, they decided to demolish the Dato house. So they demolished the Dato house. The MD of the factory was an expat. So the expat immediately got sent back a few months. So then our temple member got helped up to the position factory manager. So he was asking me what's the problem, how to maintain, because a lot of people come and go within that position. Of course, the Feng Shui part, I helped him fix up the Feng Shui part to make sure that in that particular office, he was able to maintain his work. And then the factory, they invited different types of Hindu deities. They have the Dato and all that, but it was not done properly. So when I was there, I helped him to communicate, and then he's still working till today in that company. So he broke the record of being able to stay longer in that position until now. Before that, all the expats, maximum 1 year, then they are off. Maximum 1 year, for some reason they are fired, they get transferred back, they have health problems and so on. But after he helmed the thing, he was okay till now. So don't underestimate the gatekeeper. Don't underestimate the security guy. Don't underestimate the receptionist. You never know, sometimes the receptionist with the boss don't want to see you also get tired. I cannot offer pork, so to be safe, don't offer pork. Okay, to be safe, don't offer, because you don't know what's there. If you're without pork, then it's the safest. Then if you see there's a Hindu shrine next to the Dato, or on the Dato is top of the Dato itself, then of course you don't offer beef lah. So be smart about it, that you have a look at the surrounding first before you go and buy your offering. Okay? So now we have concluded about Topekong, Tiju, Dato, how to effectively pray. So now if you have friends who have whether I can finish, I don't think I can finish. I will talk about pets tomorrow. So for you guys, let me go into double screen. Okay. Let me talk a bit about our temple. So our temple is located in Penang. This is our new building for the past, I think this is the second year already for this new building. So we are permanently now located in this building. So our temple, for this coming 7th lunar month, during the Dizangwang Pusat's celebration, we are lighting up lamps for members and also for patrons. But the lamps are all full already because members took it up, and then when we publish on our page is facebook.kdspg. Need to do a little bit of introduction for where I volunteer, because giving back to the boss. So this is where we are in terms of our KDSPG. So you can follow up our developments, our things that we have put on, okay, in our temple. Even though now it's phase 2 in Penang, our temple is not open, but daily we have our admins there to change the water, place the incense and so on. Even though it's allowed now if you have 2 shots, but we are still closed due to safety reasons for everyone. So, but you can follow the development in Ngakpa Nyingma San Penang, the temple that I'm the founder for the one in Penang, and I'm also the one that's leading it now. Okay, so I'm not talking from the perspective of my home altar or talking it from other people's experience. If you have seen so far, today will be the 7th episode, 7 hours of talking about spirits. Not so easy. Many people talk about maximum 2 hours, 3 hours, already nothing to say already. All the books all put finish. Anyway, this is the temple. So we are there. Tomorrow I'll be talking about more about KMS or KDS. Currently no, because of the case file. We have Kelvin here. Kelvin saying that more about giving meals to the needy. Actually, the funds, I've already gathered the funds for giving out meals every month for 1 year. So I already obtained the fund due to my the day we issue out the White Lotus Talisman. So after we issue out the White Lotus Talisman, we got enough funds to provide for 1 year. It's just that now that the cases are keep on rising here in Penang, so we don't want to risk it, and also to risk the people who come and line up for the food. Also at the same time, there are many helpful organizations and individuals who are already doing food bank all around. So I think that if we add on to it, there will not be how we say extra help into it, because so many people are already doing it. So therefore we currently we haven't started yet. So the funds are all already there. Okay, so for the Master Mystical Collection are where my. So this one, as you can see, I'm looking on the other way. So this one is a private group. Usually showcasing the things that I've collected. Spiritual stuff that I've collected throughout. Some are gifts from friends or from gifts from friends who are cultivators, who are shamans, different types of gifts. Okay. So if you guys are, again, let me go back to this. If you guys are doing offering for your Datoks, remember to just buy traditional type of gold papers or silver papers. Don't buy those fancy types of offering papers, because the most traditional ones are the ones that has how we say more bang for the buck. So that means that one is worth the value of offering. Dato also you can offer, which are the Dato's clothes in paper form one. That one also you can offer up to it. But remember, if your Dato is located, you know, some people they like to find exotic places of deities. That means they like to find exotic places for Dato or the Tiju or the Topekong. So if you go into mountain types one, that means the one near to the bottom of the mountain or bottom of the hill where there's Dato houses located there, you can go and pay homage if you're hiking through, you are going through. But please don't go and ask for things that are related to wealth, especially in the ones that are near the hills or near the mountains. You don't go there and ask, oh, please bro, give me some finance, improve in finance, or improve in my or strike numbers or whatever. You don't go and request from, especially from the one near the hills and the one near the mountains. Because if you ask this, I'm sure those people that like to ask this, they were followed by the next sentence. If I strike or if I get this amount of money, I will come and do whatever. So these people are usually the ones that's highly forgetful, because when they ask for it, they go and ask few places at one time. So when they obtain those things or things improve, either they forgot, they're not interested to go back for repair because they already promised too many places. That's when the problem starts. And especially for the ones near the hills and near the mountains, is because usually they are not only the Dato is there, sometimes it's not the Dato, sometimes it's the mountain spirit that's in that particular shrine. So if it's the mountain spirit, if it's the hill spirits or some other cultivating spirits in that shrine, if you ask for wealth and things like that, if it do happens to be successful, then you have to be very careful. Especially if you have promised a lot of things in vague sense. Vague sense means you don't specifically say what you will return. That's where the problem starts, because then they have a whole range of unspecified things that they can ask from you in return. So make sure. We have question from Jerome here, say, how do we clean up after burning for brothers by the roadside, especially those ashes? You have to come back the next day. You cannot be on the spot. For anything you burn for spirits, especially wandering spirits, because now the lunar 7-month one, when you burn an offer, it's not even your karmic debtors. Those are wandering spirits. So for wandering spirits, if you cannot see or you cannot sense or you don't have the idea, you don't know how many will be coming at the same time and who they are and what's their background. So the moment you try to, once it's burning, it's finished, you see it's finished only, but sometimes there are still certain sparks or warmth there, you start straight to go and try to collect or clean up the ash or use something to wipe on it, that will also cause problem if you are not really careful, because you don't know they are still squatting there or whatever, then you go and do something. This is not from old wives' tales, this is from exact one. So you don't go and if you want to do cleanup, you go back to the next day only, you start to do the cleaning. That means if, let's say for example, tonight is the 15th, a lot of people burn, and you also burn, but you want to do cleanup because you don't want to cause a lot of rubbish, then the next day morning, early morning, you go and clean up, it's fine. You don't do it on the same evening, because on the same evening, maybe while you are trying to collect or clean up, other people are still burning. So they are in the vicinity. Okay. So those are the things that you need to look out for. For the Datok, also is the same as Topekong. If you are, it can be the 2nd or the 16th day of the lunar month. Usually go for the 2nd or the 16th day of the lunar month, which is much better because on the 1st or the 15th day of the lunar month, sometimes some people are on vegetarian diet. Sometimes certain deities celebration date. So you go for 2nd or the 16th of the lunar month. Datuk cannot offer beer. Alcohol stuff cannot. Cannot offer beer. You can offer beer at Topekong's one. Topekong Shrine and Temple, you can offer beer, alcohol, rice wine, all that you can. But for the Dato one, you better don't, because you don't know you don't know who is there, unless you can be sure. Last question before we close off. When we burn any offerings, can we occasionally adjust it during burning to enhance burning process? If you are burning for wandering spirits, the best is not to go and touch it. Once it's burned, you just leave it to burn. Okay? Outside the house, wandering spirits, you don't touch it. If you are, let's say, burning it for your ancestor, so you can. If you are burning it for deities, then you can. But if you are burning for wandering spirits, or you are burning to settle some problems with spirits, or with spirits that you have offended, you don't go and take sticks and whatever, go and make it burn. Okay. So Jason, let me drink first. Jason says, don't play and simply make promise four-face Buddha. Will zap you, you have to go back and pay. Actually, it's not four-face. It's not a Buddha. Actually, it's a deity. Okay, it's a deity. So it's just that people, because it's Thailand, people say that it's Buddha because it's actually a deity. Therefore, that's why deity, if you have any promises, then you have to go back. That's why don't give empty promises. There are a lot of people who use the Casanova technique when they go to temple, and when they talk to deities. A lot of people use the Casanova technique. Casanova technique, they make a lot of promise to a lot of people. In the end, they don't know who they promise and who they are required to give back. Then some are also the type of auntie promise, auntie and uncle promise. Auntie and uncle promise is what? They go to temples such as the Yin deities, the Death Marshal, Toy Yapet, the Topet Jipet one, or any other Yin Marshal or Dato or whatever. They keep on asking, they say, please give me 40, give me 40. If you let me strike once, I will come back and volunteer at your temple. Come back, I am a volunteer. My whole life I can come back and volunteer. So they let them strike. They strike maybe 100 ringgit, 300 ringgit. Or let's say they let them strike 1,000. You remember, your promise is to go back there to volunteer for life. So those people, they don't realize. So when they make those promises, they do really strike the numbers, then they have to go back for life. If they don't go back, they try to find further excuses, then it's even further, because those are what we call Yin deities. So Yin deities, you don't give empty promises or broad promises that you cannot fulfill. Wong says, yesterday you ensure the marriage go to the intended parties, the goal of the marriage. The goal or whatever that you want to burn, you just go through the smoke of your let's say for example it's your Tizu. You just, whatever goal that you have, you just go through your Tizu, and then before you burn outside, then it will be good enough already. You just tell your teacher, I'm burning this for you lah. And then you just go through it. Just simple motion, go through 1, 2, 3 times of the incense smoke, and then you can go and burn already. There's no problem. Outside one won't be able to take away your teacher's go one. I usually before we conclude tonight, usually I think of it this way. If you already told your teacher this is for you, and you already do the smoke over for your teacher, and then you go and burn outside. While burning also you say it's for your teacher. If your teacher is so incapable that gold also gets stolen by people from the outside who don't have a shrine, don't have an altar one, then 廣東話 is 一句啫，抵死咯。Right or not? Already you are at their house, you have a shrine, you have a cultivation places where you are venerated. The gold will also say it's meant for you, and then we smoke it 1, 2, 3 times, and then when we burn outside, also 你俾人搶, also you cannot hold on to that gold, then your teacher already cannot pakai already ma. That simple thing also you have to protect the teacher, then cannot already. So don't worry, they no one. Outside spirit cannot touch the things one, don't worry. Okay? Alright, so we will talk about spirits, animal spirits tomorrow, and your pets. So remember tomorrow to tag all your friends that has pets, dogs, cats, any other pets. Then we will be talking about them and how to actually, when they become a spirit, do they come back, and what we can do to help them speed up the process. Okay, no problem, Wong. It's just that I'm a little bit more direct. Okay, so see you guys tomorrow. Take care.